Once again, for you guys watching live, but for you guys watching in the replay, welcome to our Reishi Warriors health call this Saturday. It is the 5th of June. I'm Eric. I'm a holistic health coach and actor calling out of Ireland, soon to be Portugal, heading back to the Queen. Say hello, Isa, as well.
Hi, guys. Am I muted? I don't think I am I?
No, you're not muted.
Fine. Hi, everybody. Eric tends to call me the Queen. I think it's cute, but sometimes makes me shy. So yes, my name is Eloisa. I am originally from Brazil. I'm now living in Portugal. We decided to move to Portugal as our businesses are all done online, and what a blessing it is to have technology that we are literally connected with the whole world here with you guys, many different countries, many different continents, and we are all here present. So what a present that we have in our hands to be able to connect it at such an ease. And yes, that's me.
Awesome. And our goal, guys, with this call in general, our mission with Reishi Warriors is to empower people to live a healthier and more abundant life. And we want to reach the lives of 100,000 people by the end of 2022. And we have a number of special guests on this call today, one of whom most of it wouldn't be on this call if it wasn't for Pete Cohen. He is a sports psychologist. He's a coach. He helps people get from where they are to where they want to be. He's a massive, big-hearted gentleman. And we're going to be sharing the call with Pete today. He's a dear friend, and he is an energy like no other. So, Pete, say hello, my friend. Great to see you back on the call.
Yeah, look, it's my pleasure, right? It's just so amazing to see you. Talking to you yesterday, Eric, was all the hairs on my back stood up, and there's a lot of hair on my back because the hair that was once on my head is all gone south. And it's fantastic to see some other superb people on this call. I see Claudio, I see Zaf, I see some of my other friends that have joined us here. You know, you might not have seen me for a while, but one thing I can tell you that is so consistent in me is Reishi. You know, Reishi is my thing. It is my secret weapon. It is the most consistent thing I do in my life, without a doubt. Apart from breathe, getting Reishi into my body multiple times every single day has been the most consistent thing I've done in 10 years of my life. And that's something I'm very proud of, and obviously very proud to know you, Eric, because since I've known you and Issa and so many of you, you've been doing exactly the same, right? And if you can guess what I've got in my right hand, I'll give you £50,000. Who wants to guess what I've got in my right hand? Go.
Pink coffee.
No.
It's a Reishi mushroom.
And here's what I've got in my other hand, a box of black coffee, you know? And I often hold a magic wand in my hand, but you know, when you're drinking this, you don't need a magic wand in your hand, right? You just drink it. So I'm looking forward to the call. I'm delighted to be here, Eric, and back to you, my friend.
Awesome. Well, look, Pete,
Just a quick interruption. Sorry, guys. Are we recording this? I don't see the recording anywhere.
Yes, I am recording here at Claudio. I'm recording with my computer.
We are indeed. We got you, Claudio. We're upgrading our recording, so it's a higher quality, but thank you for getting her back on that. There's often a call that starts and we're halfway through and we realize we didn't record it, so thank you for the reminder. So guys, for those of you who are new or never heard of Reishi, I want to take you back just a little bit and just share a little bit on the visual end of things as to what we're actually talking about. For myself, I'm a coach, and 6 years ago I was speaking to Pete and another gentleman, Steve Gulia, and they were sharing a concept with me, which I was a little bit, it was intriguing, but I was still a little bit like, I have to put this to the test for myself because I've never heard of this before. So I was a little skeptical, but you know what they say about skepticism, it's only valid in the absence of logic. So if something doesn't make sense, then you can be skeptical, right? So I was told that this was a really powerful superfood. And for any of you guys who don't know what superfoods are, it means it has the full complement of the fabulous 50, which is proteins, carbohydrates, fat, fiber, water, vitamins, minerals, you name it. It is a perfect complement of a food, essentially, that allows us to heal and to be vital and bring us back to a state of balance. So reishi, it's also known as Ganoderma lucidum. I was told that this was in coffee and tea. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. I don't drink coffee. But the concept is kind of cool because as a coach, for years, I was trying to convince people, hey, you should do exercise this way, or hey, you should maybe think differently, or hey, you should maybe eat this kind of food. But what do people do? What they want to do. Not what they need to do necessarily, what they want to do. So what are we going to do in this life, guys? Are we going to try and change people? No. Good luck with that. Because if you try and do that, you will go insane. People are always going to do what they want to do. So I realized that, and I said, you know what? If this is the real deal, if Pete Cohn isn't a professional liar, if Steve Goulia isn't an absolute BS artist, and an amazing doctor, we also work with Dr. Bob Rakowski, isn't just, you know, a sellout, then this is the greatest concept that I've ever seen from a health coach standpoint. So I had to dig in on this. I had to be a guinea pig here, you know. So I put myself in that way. I got myself some organic green tea with reishi. I got some black coffee for the Queen there. And my mom, who is a professional skeptic, I got her some of the capsules, the reishi spore capsules. And she noticed about approximately 90% reduction in pain in her joints within 48 hours. Isa, I'm going to just pass it over to you in a moment to share your testimony. But I started drinking this stuff. I started on the green tea first, and then I added in the black coffee. But in my very first cup, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper, where he takes the NZT and he switches on all of his brain and he becomes like superhuman. I literally felt like Bradley Cooper in Limitless. I felt like I could see clearer. My training was off the charts. I was calmer. I was more focused. I felt happier in myself. I felt more connected to myself. My digestion was quicker. I could read people's minds. Well, maybe not the last one, but I was trying. Anyway, I felt so much more connected and switched on in life. I said, there's something here. There's something here, and it's not a placebo, because I'm seeing it happening in my family of skeptics. So if a skeptic is getting this result, can you imagine if a person is super open and willing to change? So I'm going to hand you over to Isa. We'll touch more on reishi, but then I'm going to just ask Pete to share his experience with this and what his feelings were as well. So Isa, could you just pop up real quick? Tell us, where were you before reishi? Because I was already really healthy.
Yeah.
I've been training for over 30 years since I've been, you know, came out of the womb really, and I was doing push-ups. But since I've been 7 years old, I've been, you know, running. So I was always in tune with my body and building that relationship with myself and learning how to eat and train and all that. But Isa, you had a different journey. What was going on with you before you got reishi into your system?
Yes. Do you want to just stop sharing the screen there? There's a few people that need to be muted as well, honey, because there's background.
Sure.
So I don't know if they can hear me well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because I cannot mute it.
Yeah, sure. I'll just see who that is.
Fantastic. Yes, so I wanted to share my testimony, and I say to Eric that if it wasn't for oregano, I don't think I would ever be open about my past. And I had made bad decisions growing up because I wanted a shortcut on being skinny. So because of it, I developed bulimia, anorexia, and then developed to bulimia because I could not eat in front of my parents, so I had to eat. So for that reason, I developed an eating disorder. And for 10 years, I was very good at hiding it. But I knew how much I was damaging myself, but I couldn't stop, right? So then I met the fantastic king now, Eric, and he helped me to deal better with food in general. I know that this is not something that people talk to, so then sometimes you may have someone around you that you don't even know, but is dealing with eating disorder. It's something that you can do, and people that do it, they are very, very clever, and they really hide well. And that was me, right? So then with Eric's help, I learned to like food and learn to eat and appreciate the food I was eating. Unfortunately, after I stopped doing it, I still needed medication because my digestive system literally had stopped working properly for 10 years because I don't remember even having one full meal in 10 years. And that is terrible when I think back. But that was my future, I thought. I thought that was something that I was going to carry as a result of bad choices I had in the past. And when Eric brought home the coffee, I remember saying to him, like, how the heck am a coffee going to help? He said, like, the coffee is a vehicle. It seems like that's what's in it, that's what's very important, what's very, very powerful. So just take it. I'm not going to put my name behind anything I don't believe in, so I need to put the test. It's like, okay, I started taking it, and within 3 weeks, I've noticed that I didn't need the medications anymore to be able to help my digestive system work, right? And then Eric suggested to say, let's just see how long it lasts until you need it again. And it's been almost 7 years, and I have never touched another medication ever again. I think I took paracetamol twice in all these 7 years, and it was for cramps. Like it wasn't even related to anything that I was dealing there. And I'm forever grateful, guys, because I didn't have any side effects. I know I'm doing better for me, not only for my digestive system, everything, my overall health has improved because of Reishi. Because everybody's different and because Reishi adapts to everybody's needs and then changes what needs to be changed and helps to bring back to health what needs, we highly recommend, like, just try for yourself, have an experience, And with Reishi Warrior, the way it was born was, we have this mission of impacting 100,000 people by the end of 2022 or 3, because actually I had 3, but Eric has said 2. And it's because we know that everybody needs different things, and we know Reishi can make a massive impact. So that is my testimony. And like I said, I'm grateful that Reishi made me comfortable about talking about it, because I didn't. For 10 years, I didn't talk to anyone about it. So yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you, honey, for sharing that, because that's a very personal story, and it's not easy to share that. And not only that, Isa also was very fearful of speaking in public.
Yeah.
So you can imagine 6 years of consuming this for her to go on that journey, to be comfortable in order to communicate that message. Like, we don't have to sell anything to anyone who watches this information. Everyone is selling something. All right. And by selling something, I mean an idea, is sharing a belief system. So absolutely, we're selling the heck out of this. We're sharing a belief system. We're sharing some incredible stories, some incredible science. And Isa, I want to ask you, if you were to put a monetary value on that, what would you put on that?
I can't. I absolutely can't, because I thought I was doomed. I thought that was me. I needed to take the medications because I had so many years behind me of poor caring of my body. So I can't. I literally can't. I saw documentaries. I was forced to watch documentaries. I forced myself to watch documentaries of people dying for what I had. And I'm grateful that I didn't. And I'm grateful that I actually didn't get even close to that. So yeah, I can't.
All right. Well, look, there we go. Keep on rocking on. So, you know what, guys? Does anyone know anyone who suffers with an eating disorder, who might need some help? Who knows people? Because, I think it was not Earl Nightingale, that said most people suffer in quiet desperation. And this is one of those things that, be observant of other people and really ask people how they're doing. Because this can make a difference. And we can't claim that this is going to fix every illness under the sun, but the science behind it, the data on it now is 35 plus PubMed studies. So it's one of those incredible tools that you can have in your toolbox to go into your body and allow it to heal itself. That's the miracle of the body. When it gets the fuel it needs, it heals itself. So I wouldn't be on this call probably. Someone else mentioned this company and who actually have the highest potency of Reishi on the planet. So I may have come across or may have tried it somewhere down the road, but maybe not at the same time, because I'm a skeptic, right? But you need good people to share good ideas. And Pete Cohen was someone who, straight away, I was like, this guy is so out there. His energy is so full on. I'm like, you have to love him. And if you don't love him, then you will eventually. But no matter what, you'll appreciate him, because he's just a unique guy. So Pete, can you rewind the clock just probably be 8 years now, probably somewhere around that, when you first tried this? What was going on in your life before Reishi, and what happened since?
Well, first off, I just want to say, Isa, I think you're amazing. I love you. I love hearing your story because it's real, and people that live with those types of challenges, eating disorders, some of them happen for their whole life. And I don't know how much Reishi had a part to play in that. I'm sure it played a part, but who you are, who you've become is flipping awesome, And I just want you to know, I think you're so inspirational. So as to is Eric, for me, it's the weirdest thing, because obviously this is in tea and coffee. I hated tea and coffee. I never in my wildest dreams would have thought I would be a coffee drinker. If you have to drink hot drinks, you have to stop. You can't. I'm always on the go. You can't drink a hot drink while you're running down the road. You have to stop. And it's very strange even to this day, but I have been consuming this every day pretty much for 10 years. And I think some of you know the story because it's not a story you hear every day. But the reason I came across this was because my wife had a brain tumor, wasn't given very long to live. And that took us down a road where we went to Houston, Texas, where we met Dr. Rakowski. We didn't go to Houston to meet him. We went there for her cancer treatment. But we ended up meeting Dr. Rakowski. And I knew him because my background was in fitness. I was a personal trainer. And I knew of him, and he's the best in the business. Anyone who knows anything about functional medicine, anyone who knows anything about elite performance, most of those people would have heard of him, and I knew of him. And he put my wife on a diet. He put my wife on a whole lot of supplements, and he said, Hannah, if you drink coffee, drink this. And who would have believed that, 10 years later on, we're in such a different place with where she is right now with her health. She's alive and well. But for me, the amount of cups I've drunk of this, and as Issa was talking, I was actually thinking that I think I've had one cold in 10 years. And in my 20s, I'm 52 now, but in my 20s and into my 30s, like 35, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue, ME. I had it for years. And looking back, I can't believe I ever had it. But the reason I tell you this is that literally in the last 10 years or so, I think one cold, I used to get sore throats all the time, swollen glands. I just don't get that. I still get tired and burnt out from time to time, but it doesn't last. And I did collect for maybe 3 years. I collected so many testimonials from people because I couldn't believe what was happening when people were consuming this. And I know some of you have seen those testimonials and some of you haven't, but I got them all with people with all sorts of conditions that, who would say that they are in a better place because of this. So that's why to this day, I'm still giving this to everyone. In fact, a couple of my friends here, Daniel and Debbie, I didn't know them a few months ago. I gave them some coffee and now it's I couldn't pay them not to drink it. And that's amazing, right? If you're in business and you have a product where you give it to someone, they love it so much that they're not going to stop consuming it. It becomes their product. That's what we call brand loyalty. And you'd have to pay me, I don't think you could pay me any amount of money for me not to have this in my life. And I don't think I'm the only one. So that's kind of my testimonial. But thanks, Eric. Back to you, my friend.
That's awesome, Pete. And just want to dig a little bit deeper on that as well, since I have you. From a performance standpoint, Pete, did you notice much of a shift that area for yourself on a personal level?
Yeah, so, I've always heard of pre-workouts, but I've never really been into them. But that was the first thing I did. When the box arrived in the UK and I had my first cup of the black coffee, I went straight to the gym. And honestly, I literally just had such an amazing workout. And if you look at the science behind Reishi, you understand that it is what some people call a nitrate donor. And all that means is it just means it helps to dilate blood vessels. And if blood vessels dilate, it means oxygen. Where you have oxygen, you have life, There used to be an advert for a beer in Europe for, you might have heard of it, it's called Heineken. And they used to have this thing where it says Heineken, it says it refreshes the parts that other beers cannot reach. And I can tell you, this refreshes the parts that I think most other superfoods, they don't reach. They don't do what this seems to do. And that's why a lot of people call this or at least one, a lot of people call it the number one superfood on planet Earth. And as Eric said, this is something that people don't do what they need to do. Most people don't need to, they do what they want. And people want coffee, people want tea, they're not giving it up. Put this in front of people, and you'll find that in many cases, some really crazy things start happening. I'm not going to say it's magic, but because you can't make statements like that, this can cure you of this or, but the only way you find out is by giving it a go. So, yeah, thanks, Eric.
experience trumps knowledge. That's a good one. To be lived, not just to know, but to live, because, you know, educated people that don't practice are just missing out, you know. And something, you said something about getting to certain places, or reishi can get to different parts of the body. It is one of those foods that crosses also the blood-brain barrier, so it allows more clarity of mind, more oxygen to the brain, and hence the reason why I believe I was feeling like Bradley Cooper in the movie Limitless. But I just want to touch on, before I have a couple of other guest speakers, I just want to touch back on some of the data on reishi and what it actually does. So what the heck is PubMed? PubMed is published medical research by doctors for doctors. So why is that a big deal? Well, essentially, they were looking at reishi because of its health benefits to make the next king-a-ding drug, essentially, because it was doing so much. So boosting oxygen, we talked about that, across the blood-brain barrier, just allows blood vessels to dilate. Also for sports performance, you know, just my performance went through the roof. I have a second wind like 5 or 6 times. So it just keeps happening. Quick recovery, get as much oxygen into your body as possible. I find it helps to buffer acid, which it actually does. I learned as I dug in deeper, it helps to buffer the acid that builds up as you're training, but also detoxes the body. So someone asked me recently, or came up in conversations, that you are what you eat. No, you are what you absorb. You know, and if you don't detox the body and you're holding on to toxic waste, we all have high levels of toxic chemicals in the body now. It's a fact. Most people have over 200 chemicals in the body, and heavy metals is a big problem. But when you get a big toxic load in the body, you hold on to waste products in the intestines. And also, if it's anything backed up in the colon, it should be out of you within 18 to 22 hours. You know, so you eat food, it should be gone within 22 hours. If it's not, you've got a sluggish system, you've got leaky gut syndrome, you've got all different problems with the gut. Reishi helps to flush things out. So if you need to go, reishi will help you go and help you flush toxins out of the body, because no one wants to be full of it. Let's be honest. You want to get that out, right? Modulating the immune system as well, which is a nice word for saying it adapts or it adjusts your immune system. There's a lot of people, you know, worried about immune system nowadays. And as Pete rightfully said, we can't make any claims. We can't say this will cure you of anything. However, but on my doctor coat, reishi now is in the published medical literature to block some of the worst viruses in the history of the planet, one of which is getting a lot of press these days. I can't name it, but if you go onto PubMed and you put in, let's say, something that's bothering quite a few people, and Ganoderma, you will see a very interesting study there. So you know what? Bulletproofing your immune system is a wise strategy, because you are the number one investment you're ever going to make. All right? I don't care. Medical insurance, forget about it. Medical insurance is what's on your plate, what's in your head, and what's in your heart. That's medical insurance. That's health insurance in my eyes, all right? Create the environment for health. And at the end of the day, you're either creating health or you're creating illness. You're creating alkalinity or acidity. The more alkaline the body is, the healthier you are. The more acidic you are, the more ill you will become. So reishi is one of the most alkaline-rich foods on the planet. It flushes the body with nutrients and helps the body to come back to a state of balance. So if someone has an overactive immune system or an underactive immune system, check your bloods. Check your bloods, because I believe the proof is in the pudding. And if you measure your bloods, and one of our guest speakers is going to be sharing their blood work or their markers certainly in a moment, but that's what I would encourage you to do, is get this into your consistency, get an experience, do it for at least 60 days. If you can't drink coffee or tea to live a healthier life, good luck. It ain't going to happen. All right, that's my tough love. If you can't switch what you do on a daily basis, we're not asking anyone to go out and farm organically. You should, ideally, but everything is progressive. So controlling inflammation. Pain sucks. No one likes to be in pain, but it's part of life. However, I believe people have chosen to numb it with what's easy, with a prescription medication or whatever, you know, just a Band-Aid, not looking at the source. And you know what? Even looking in the US now for stats, and it's the same over here in this part of the world, but for every dollar they're spending on medication, they're spending $1.30 on side effects or direct effects. So what's working? You know, there is a place for medication, but not nearly as much as what the certain doctors are prescribing to people. Because as I explained to a gentleman the other day, being on certain medications is like having a phone bill. It's a subscriber-based business. So what are you going to choose to subscribe to? Health or medication? So you can choose to make your own decisions there. If there is a place for it, of course, but not in every case. And as Dr. Bob very well said, it should be the lowest dosage over the shortest duration. But that's not the advice that most people are getting when they go into their doctor. They're saying, yes, you should be taking X, Y, and Z. And by the way, let's jab you with this thing because it's not tested yet fully. So, that's not good enough for me. I think we need to go back to common sense. And it's not that common, but look at nature, look at what nature provides, and get our diet in check, get our mindset in check, get it moving, and start connecting to ourselves and stop worrying about things that could happen, and focus on what we're going to create. And that's really what fires me up and gets me excited, as you can probably tell. But hormones, also balancing hormones, calming the brain, and improving sleep. Sleep is the biggest bang for your buck for health ever. All right? There's a book written called Peak Performance. And the author in that is an expert in sleep. And he says you need to be getting between 8.5 and 9 hours sleep. All right? I don't know if you were a big Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, but he famously said, sleep 6 hours, sleep faster. So don't get 8 hours, get 6 hours and sleep faster. Didn't really make much sense, but Arnie's gone on to do great things. But for most people, they're going to need a little bit more than 6 hours. And Reishi helps you to sleep into a deeper sleep and also calms the brain. And for any of you guys who know anyone suffering with mental illness or mental health challenges, there's a study on Reishi that it calms the brain more than Valium without any direct effects. So what would you choose? Nature's medicine or man-made medicine? I would choose nature's medicine all day long. Thank you very much. So I would love to introduce you to, and I will come back to comments in a moment. I went off on a bit of a tangent rampage there, but that's just me. I feel there's certain things that are on my mind that I need to speak. But I'd love to pass it over to our next lady speaker, which is Fenrose in Canada. This is the consequence of decision, all right? Sharing things, making a decision, and letting that flow organically. So Fenrose, we didn't meet before, but thankfully through our business model of referral marketing or network marketing, whatever you want to call it, it's connections through people of like-mindedness. But Fen, you're in Canada right now. Tell us, first of all, say hello. Tell us how you were before Reishi, what was going on with you, and how are you doing right now?
Hi, everyone. I'm in Canada. We're still in lockdown here where we are, but hopefully it'll open up June 14th. That's what they say. But before Reishi, I battled with type 2 diabetes on medication. And then a lot of it is even though I was on medication, I still struggled to lose weight, even though I was taking the right steps by changing my lifestyle, eating better, watching what I eat, doing more exercises. But I just couldn't get off medication. I couldn't lower my A1C. And if anyone doesn't know what that is, that's basically an average of your blood sugar levels in 3 months. And that helps the doctors, I guess, determine what your dosage should be for medication. I hated being on medication. I had a bout with I had cancer about 10 years ago, and the medication, the doctor wasn't monitoring it properly. And at one point, because of the medication, I was overdosing on hormone medication. And I didn't like that feeling. So I had like a bad experience with medication. I just want to get off it. I wanted to find something more natural. And my cousin introduced me to this Reishi stuff because she knew about my diabetes, and it was at a conference that Dr. Bob spoke at. So I was sold right away. I started again with the green tea, and then I moved on to do the 7-day challenges, which actually cleared out my gut because I had a really big gut. I was really overweight. That's why I became diabetic. I'm so grateful to have been introduced to Reishi and have it, like Pete says, that is what I consume every day. Reishi, I will not go a day without it. I switched from tea to coffee, because I found that the King product was a lot more effective, at least for me. And I was introduced to all these wonderful people, and they support me on my journey to getting healthier. So this is one of the decisions I made to make a healthier choice. And now I've been off medication for over 8 months, and my A1C, my most recent A1C, went down to 6.5 from 7.2. So I'm definitely waiting for my call from my doctor to ask me, what did I do? And she doesn't know that I'm off medication. I like Eric did, I became a guinea pig for myself and took myself off of it. And the only thing that I changed was reishi. So having it in my life has been a big eye-opener experience.
Awesome. And Fen, what would you like to do with this information? We know we've talked about the health benefits of it. From a business standpoint, as an entrepreneurial spirit, what do you see for yourself in this over the next coming years?
Well, the sad truth, especially being in lockdown, a lot of people probably developed type 2 diabetes or became overweight because we're all in lockdown. And, I see this as an opportunity to reach out to people who have the same health issues or challenges that I do, and be able to help them, impact the world and make us all healthier one cup at a time, but obviously to grow the business at the same time.
Absolutely. And the best part is the more people you serve and get better, the more you make, which is great because it's a win-win. It always has to be a win-win. Fen, I'd love to give you a word of advice when it comes to your doctor. When they do ask you, would you be up for some advice on that?
Yeah, of course.
I would tell them I partnered with one of the world's top health experts, sharing the world's top superfood in the most convenient form ever. I'd love to share it with you. Can I send you a sample?
Okay.
Because straight away they've seen the evidence, they'll see it with you, and then invite them to our either our Reishi Warriors Instagram or to our Facebook pages with Dr. Rakowski or any of the other thousands of members in the group, and just let that resonate, and invite them onto a call. Dr. Bob will be back over the next couple of weeks as well, and we'll have these calls rocking and rolling. But I foresee that call is coming soon. So thank you so much once again, Fen, for sharing on the call. Super proud of you, super pumped for you, and it's great to see you evolving as a speaker as well. Rock and roll. So next up we have Thomas coming all the way from the UK, originally from Poland. Thomas, can you unmute? Tell us how you're doing. What was your situation before Reishi, and how are you doing now?
Oh, hello, everyone. Yeah, I mean, not at my previous speakers. I haven't got any challenge with my health and anything to do with this. But I mean, I started my journey with Reishi completely from a different point of view. I worked for the corporate world for a number of years, and I was made redundant back in August because of the pandemic and then effect of the industry. And that wasn't the first time when I was actually made redundant. So, but this time I decided that I have to change something in my life. I have to do something different and just be independent from this corporate world and start searching for opportunities and options. And I came across a presentation actually done by Eric about the Reishi, about the product. And I was just flabbergasted about the benefits which this product offers to us. And I decided I have to try it. I have to be part of this journey. So before Reishi, I used to run casually on Sundays between 6 to 10 kilometers maximum, often stopping, catching my breath, and having chit chat on the way through. So it was more than walking than running. And I remember since I started drinking Reishi for 2 days, my first Sunday run, was 14 kilometers, and I finished off, and I was hungry to run more. My running partner was in shock. He wasn't believing actually what's happening. I mean, are you on something or what? And that's the effect of the product. I mean, since then my conditioning went over the roof, and my runs become longer, faster, and more enjoyable. And also recovery is great. I mean, very often I run around 20K in the morning on Sundays, and then in the afternoon we're having a walk with the family and the dog, German Shepherd, which requires a lot of activities in the park. And I feel fine. I mean, there's no side effects, and then side effects, tiredness, basically, in my legs. So it's great. It's great. I mean, also Reishi boosted my confidence to that point that I signed for the challenge, which was a wolf run. And this involved running 100 kilometers within 48 hours. So it's great charity to run for. But then I said, okay, let's have a go. So I signed myself for, I said, okay, I will do 50. I mean, I can do 20. So in 2 days, I might do 50. So running this sport. But actually, I managed to do 100 kilometers between 2 days. So running 2 marathons back to back. So that's unbelievable. And I still cannot believe that actually I achieved this one. But there you go. That's confidence built with the product which is in your body. Yeah, and wow. The best part is that now I'm inspiration for others because they can see my conditioning level, my attitude, my energy, and it just boosts their morale and push them to actually do more and push harder basically with this. It's great feeling.
That's awesome. And even outside of the business, because obviously, it makes sense to diversify these days, especially with something that makes such a big impact. And we can leverage through the internet and social media and all these different avenues. But from a standpoint of just on a personal level, if there wasn't even a business with this, how much is that worth to you as well? But I'd say this back to you as Fen as well. What is it worth to you to have this, to upgrade your life?
It's priceless. I mean, I introduced this product to many of my friends, my family, my skeptic wife as well. I mean, she was suffering with the pains in her bones, and this is gone. She would start sneaking, because she wasn't believing in this product so much. So she would sneak in and start actually taking sports by herself without actually telling me that she's doing this. Just to realize that this actually helped her. And then she said, okay, it actually works.
So your wife had pain in her bones?
Yes, she got arm pain, which was very problematic for her for some time. And she couldn't sleep at night. Waking up in the morning and sort of suffering before she actually could move again, and she started taking sports, and that's gone. I mean, she was waiting for the appointment with the doctor for months because of the COVID situation, and then when it was due to go, she couldn't actually specify which pain and in which place actually it was because it wasn't there anymore.
That's a good complaint, right? Well, you know what works beautifully along with Reishi Spores is a really high quality omega-3. I can give you some recommendations later as well, just to help with bone health as well. And also D3. D3 is one of those things that is very low in most people. We to have the most anti-cancer benefits for D3 levels, we should be above 70 in our D3 levels. If you don't know your D3 levels, guys, you should check them twice a year. So that's just other 2 additionals that I would add to those, especially for bone health and overall well-being. But that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Thomas. Just back to yourself as well, Fen. What is that worth to you?
Having Reishi,
yeah,
it's worth everything. Everybody in my family uses it. My husband used to have knee issues, and I made him switch to coffee. He has never complained about his knee ever again. And then my second child, he has eczema. He used to get them really bad, but I've been sneaking spores or mycelium in his noodle soup at lunch, and he does not complain about the itch. It hasn't flared up in a long time. It's helped everybody in my family. My niece had hives since she's been on the green tea. She's never experienced, she hasn't seen these hives. And when she showed me a picture of her hives, I almost vomited because it was just so, I don't know, it was just unnatural to me. And my mom, who's also diabetic and all kinds of other things, she's turning 85 this year. She's been on it, and just less medication, more energy. I have my whole family. Because when you have loved ones and you see that they have ailments, you want to help them. And you're going to do whatever you can to get them to live to 100, to be around you longer. And so being introduced to this and introducing it to my loved ones is, like Thomas said, priceless. And I'm going to try to help all of you guys, with the help of all of you guys, make the world healthier.
Rock and roll. Thank you so much, Fen. That's so great to hear. We're all spiking people with reishi left, right, and center. I love it, If you're thinking as well as it's good for your animals, yes, it is. There's some awesome data on on that as well. We've got lots of testimonies. Guys, have you got any questions? Because I know we could do another hour here, and I haven't even really touched on much on the science, but we won't do that. I promise we won't do that. But it just shows you the power that this can actually have. And this is really, a lot of it's due to Pete Cohen, and being open-minded and having the experience with Hannah and having a need and a want, So over the years, Pete has actually grown this business alongside of being a speaker and a coach to become an Emerald consultant. And an Emerald, just to give you an idea, an Emerald consultant is someone who does around the business volume of 2 Starbucks, when they were open, that was, 2 Starbucks branches a month in overall sales through his organization. So you don't need to have a storefront. You don't need to have traditional business background or anything like that. You can literally just get good with sharing your experience and using social media in a professional way. So we help people to do that. We help people to upskill their social media skills. We've got trainings in that as well. We have a whole onboarding process. We have a whole team of people that help you to do that if that's something that resonates with you. But if not, just get an experience. There's no pressure. There never will be. I think pressure, that if it comes, people go running for the hills. I mean, that's the problem with a lot of ideas and businesses, is that people come like it's like Night of the Living Dead, it's just like coming out of the ground, coming after you, like, so we're not going to do that, So
Eric,
is there any?
Eric,
yes.
Could I just ask you, how many people are here who have been introduced to this from you, Anissa, and also from Zaf? I can see Zaf here. I'm just curious as to how many people have been introduced to this through you guys, and I've never met you. I don't know whether you can put your hands up but I don't know how many of you, right? I mean, isn't that crazy? I've never met you before. How do I pronounce your name? Fenerose, yeah? I mean, look at that smile. To me, that's just worth more than any penny, any money, is knowing that I've impacted your life, yet I've never met you. And I talked to Dr. Rakowski the other day, and I was on a call with him, and I said to him, I wonder how much money you have made from me, and we try to work it out. And I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased that he has made that money from me, because he deserves it. And I think anyone who introduces this to anyone, they deserve everything they get, But I just want you to know just how grateful I am to every single one of you. And I have to, let me just say this to you. So there have been 2 times in 10 years that I've taken some time off from this business. And one of those times was recently. So in December, my mother was diagnosed with lung cancer. She died in March. You know what? I didn't have anything. I still sold product. I still gave some product away, but I wasn't building. And that happened 3 years before, when my mum was ill. My dad was ill, and then my dad died. And that went on for nearly 7-8 months. And I was able to step away because we've built something that really works itself. I'm not saying it was easy, but it wasn't complicated. And how many of you would you'd like the idea of something that it gives you something when you're not working on it? For me, this is, I think, the best model I've seen for who I am as a human being, because it's not about just making money. It's about giving something that makes a difference. And I'm just very grateful to every single one of you. So, thank you.
Likewise, Pete. Likewise, it's an interesting thing. I love what Jim Rohn said. Is you get paid in relation to the amount of value that you share and the value you bring to the marketplace. So it's pretty amazing how we get rewarded. But guys, let me see if I can mute there. Honey, could you go through any questions, if you wouldn't mind? Just if anyone has any questions, guys, please put them in the chat, or anything you'd like to add.
Actually, I've got Debbie and Daniel are there. I don't know whether you guys can hear me, but I mean, these are guys who I just met recently, and they try. Do you want to just say anything you want to say about your testimonial and why you've joined the business? Anything you want to share, guys? It'd be great to hear from you. If you want to unmute yourself, if you could, I can ask you to unmute yourself. It's beautiful weather.
There you go.
There you go.
Hey.
You go.
Well, thank you for allowing us to join this evening. It's been really interesting. Thank you for hosting, Eric, and
Issa.
it's been great to hear all these testimonials. But your question, Pete, was why have we joined?
Yeah, or why have you joined, and maybe your testimonial from drinking the coffee.
Yeah, okay. So I got introduced to the coffee through you, Pete. I was doing your 30-day challenge, and so I asked Daniel, my husband, please go and order this coffee. And so Daniel has an ongoing shoulder problem, which has disappeared. And I would say the thing that I'm enjoying most about the coffee is the amount of energy and focus that I have. It's incredible. I can hardly believe it. But I do feel extremely, energized and focused every day. I'm definitely getting more work done. And so therefore, because I'm being very productive, I feel much happier and fulfilled at work and less stressed. And I guess all these things are having a knock-on effect. But we decided to get involved because we have already recommended so many people to buy the coffee through the link that you gave me, Pete. And when I think about the 10th person who bought coffee through the link that you gave me, I was like, my name should be on this link, really. So that's really very early days for us.
Yeah, it has been. It's very early days, but we have seen such a change in energy of the people we work with, people that work for us in our company. The energy level, the focus level has been quite dramatic, and it's been such a positive testimonial for us just to see that in front of our eyes on a day-to-day basis when we're working. And so far it's early days, but it's such a positive effect, an immediate effect on the people around us, which makes us happy, confident. It's such a nice feeling it's so bizarre. You give a cup of coffee to someone and it changes their mood and focus on the day. It's just very positive and it's fantastic.
Thanks a lot, guys. Really, really appreciate you. And what's great about it is when you get to work with people like that. I mean, how many of you, you've only just met them, but how many of you would think, God, I'd love to work with those guys? I'm the fortunate one that they're people that we get to work with, but you only get to work with people like that by going out there and sharing what you have. And ultimately, that's what this business is. You don't sell it to anybody. You just share it, and then people can make up their own mind. So, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, guys. Isa, if you wouldn't mind, could you zip through any questions that might be there?
Yeah, I haven't seen actually any questions per se. I have a few testimonies here that I found it very interesting. Sandra here said that she has given a Lucidum to her dog. Her face and cataracts have improved dramatically. She was giving her 1 capsule a day. That is amazing. See, just to say about the pet testimony. And it has a few other ones here as well. Let me see. She said that, and that is true. She said that she gives even the green tea for them to drink. And our dog loves the red tea. Teddy loves the red tea so much. He goes for the red tea before he even goes to the water because he loves the red tea. I think our dog is a runner. He loves to run, to play fetch. Not that he runs away, but he plays fetch. And I think that hydrates him better and probably gives even more boost for him to keep running. It's crazy. But yeah, guys, if you want to just drop us the message, just drop us questions if you want. And I was just going to mention that because that's a way that I did a switch. Okay, when Eric started the business, I said, babe, love the product, gonna keep drinking the product, but that's not for me. I don't like the business. I'm very introverted. I'm not very into talking to people that I don't know. That was me, all right? So I was supporting Eric. But then the pandemic came, and I started looking at ways that I could actually help our team because our responsibilities at Upline is to provide support to our team, right? And I started to switch our way to look at social media in a different way, how I can actually reach more people sharing these by using social media. And I came across this training where the guy said, like, if you have an itch about the word sale, I don't like selling things. I guarantee once you have your testimony, when you have your experience, like the ones that you saw today, It's no longer selling, it's serving. It's your duty to share what worked for you that may impact the life of someone else that is suffering right now, the pain that you know what it is. So when you think about that, and I say to you here, guys, maybe you say, no, that's, the business is not for me, I don't like the business, but I'm gonna try a product. If you have a good experience, if you have a life-changing experience, it becomes your duty to share with others. Maybe you're not gonna even make the money. Maybe you're gonna use the link like they were sharing. Sorry, I didn't actually grab the name, Daniel. Like they were saying that they were using Pit Link. And you're not gonna make the money, but that's okay. It's your duty to share with others the experience that you had. And I just want to say that because that was a switch for me. I was like, yeah, it's my duty now, you know? And I think that makes it easy for us to think about the whole point of the business. So yes, let me just see here if there's any questions.
Well, you're looking through the questions as well. And Thomas, I didn't actually know you did that 100 kilometers, but the gentleman who set that new world record, actually, I don't think it was taken as a world record because he has pace setters. I'm trying to get his name. It's Eliud Kipchoge, who ran a sub 2-hour marathon, is actually drinking our red tea. Mm. So cordyceps is also in the red tea. If you guys like to run or do a lot of activity, it's one of the best. The king of the red tea, that's a killer combo, you know, for performance. Cordyceps is so powerful for lung function as well. And if any of you guys know anyone who suffers with breathing issues during the summer months or excessive sneezing, I won't name a health condition, but has issues with their eyes maybe, that they're crying without crying, then give them some red tea. So guys, if you don't have any questions, Claudio, I see as well. I can't have Claudio on the call and I'll have him say hello. Yes, I do believe that the XT drink, the newest CXT and the Supreme will get things moving. I have no doubt things will be moving. Claudio, say hello to us, my friend. Can you share one of your most outstanding testimonies that you have, Claudio, or your own testimony, please, if you wouldn't mind?
I would love to, actually. And
sure.
I'm not going to say that our products actually did this, so I'm just going to wash my hands. But I do have a Filipino lady that is a friend of one of my business partners, had lost her husband about 3 weekends ago. And early Monday morning, she got diagnosed with endocrine cancer. So I met with her Monday afternoon, and needless to say, 2 weeks later, her blood work came all back normal. So no more cancer in her blood, not spreading in her liver anymore. So it's all going to be all uphill good or downhill with the tumors and everything. So and I can go on sharing, but that's just one of my recent, absolutely amazing.
I just got lockjaw right there when you said that. I couldn't move. But you know what? If this can do that for someone, you know, like we said, we can't make claims. But my goodness, if someone is in a state of urgency and in great need, highest duration of or highest dosage, I should say, 1 every waking hour, 1 or 2 spore capsules. I would assume, Claudio, was your advice on that one, was it?
So it's actually 2 spores every waking hour. Cane coffee is normally she would drink her coffee, and just the red tea, 1.7 liters, 2 tea bags, boil it, bring it to a boil, drink it like your water all day long. Now also 0 sugars, 0 keto for cancer. It is a must because sugar feeds cancer. So we starved the cancer, and everything else just fell into place.
Beautiful, beautiful.
That's how we got it working backwards. That's what responsors me in Organo. Again, we can't put a dollar sign on it. It's just it's the feeling that it does to your heart, to your emotion, to your being. So you can't put a number on it, my friends.
Awesome. You know what? And just to wrap up on that.